Well, good evening. Here we are again on our project 3D printing the G.I. Joe classified Skystriker. Last video I checked all these parts out and put them all on the table for the lower part, for the lower side of the plane, and we just saw how big it is. And since all hull parts are now printed, I wanted to give it a little update concerning the sanding part. Now, I also took to YouTube and watched a couple of videos on sanding, PLA, and well, everybody's right, this just sucks. Sanding PLA is one of the most arduous and painful undertakings that you can go for, because this material really doesn't want to be sanded. So the best thing you can do is to resort to wet sanding it. And I went ahead and got a couple of sponges for that. So those are sanding sponges, just some generic stuff that I got off the internet. And I also went ahead and took some 240 grain paper. We'll see how this works later on. And well, then you also need a bucket of soapy water. Now this has already been used to a certain degree, so there's lots of particles and residue of the PLA in there. In order to be better understandable, or better understood now, I will refrain from taking the mask and donning the mask, but since those are small particles and they also get into the air, you really should go ahead and protect yourself and your lungs by having a breathing mask that you can get for paint supplies. Now, what we need is also, just for the sake of it, get some gloves. I have them from those are nitrile gloves, and I have them from my resin printing that I normally do here in the garage. And now we're gonna put those on, just to have a little protection. It's probably not really necessary, but otherwise it's also a mess. Now, let's go. What we're going to do is, first of all, once these parts are printed, you will see that the underside is very, very ragged on here. This is where the supports actually held the piece on the printer in place. You might remember this from an earlier video. And what we're going to do now is we're going to address this issue first. So, put this here, just dip it a little bit, and then go ahead and start moving it across this sandpaper. These parts already does a whole lot of good to it. We're done with this, and I opted to use a couple of grains here. So first, if it's really, really ragged, I start up with an 80 sponge. The 80 sponge is really, well, rugged, and you don't probably want to use it. If it's a nice print, you don't want to use it on the outer parts. I use it on the inner parts. If there's something that I need to clean up, I use the 80 grain. We're not going to use this on the outside because the outside is already, it's a pretty nice print. Now, the next part is we're going to move to 120 grain. The 120 grain is just, well, it's just, well, ragged enough to start bringing all this down. I will not spend my time now here talking to you and doing this, because this is going to take, well, literally an hour or more per part. I'm also just moving up until I get from 120 to 180. And once I'm happy with a 180, I finish it off with 240. And this is where I will stop. So there are 16 parts for the Skystriker hull. I have sanded 4 parts already. This is the 5th part. So I try to squeeze these hours in here and there to do this, but this is going to take a long time to get done. And well, yeah, it will get finished eventually. And let me tell you, the parts that I sanded so far, they feel super smooth. And once this model is done, the whole thing will feel like injection molded. Once this has been sanded to 240 grain, I will go ahead, assemble the lower part, and then use a thick layer filler on the outside of the entire underpart. And once this is done, I can smooth out the seams where the parts interconnect. And they should just blend in and be obfuscated so you don't know where the seam is for the lower parts anymore. The inside will be spray painted black, just to obscure everything that's inside. You won't see it from the outside, it's just going to be spray painted black inside. The filler here on the outside, I will not overdo it. I've never used anything like this, and I really hope that it's not going to obscure the details too much. So far, this is going to be good, I guess, and then we will move on to the final layer of paint. Well, off to do some more sanding. Wish me luck.